Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Redbeard Podcast. It's Friday, and you know what's up with Friday. You get to listen to your boy Cooley and his buddy Tony. Today is no different. We actually went ahead and interviewed independent film actor Tracy Birdsall of the upcoming Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter. She's also starring in a film called Who's Jenna, which is going to be coming out about the same time. And later on, actually next year, I think beginning of next year, she said, there's going to be another movie called At the Edge of Time, which is a time travel science fiction film by the same director as Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter, Neal Johnson. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Here we go. Boom. Tracy.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, let's adjust this camera so you can actually see who you're talking to and not just my shirt.
I can see cheek.
There we go.
I've been awake like 10 minutes, guys. So it's
same here. So I'm glad we're on the same page with that.
Your hair is amazing for being awake for 10 minutes. I'm sorry. That's awesome.
Us actresses have some quick morning routines we can do.
Oh, all right. Hey, so you didn't just like pop out of bed like that, right?
I popped out of bed 10 minutes ago.
Just jumped around.
That's all I say.
Yeah.
So Tracy, welcome to the Redbeard Podcast. My name is Cooley, and this is Tony. How's it going?
It's going really good. Yeah.
Nice. So you're promoting a new movie that you've just wrapped post-production on. Is that right?
Yeah, we're just finishing it up. Yeah, it'll be out very soon. I'm very excited.
All right. Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter.
That's right. Well said.
Tell us what it's about.
It's about the takeover of the world by artificial intelligence. And so it's kind of like an end of days type movie. And it's not just this world, but it's other worlds too. And so my character's like really stubborn, and she kind of just isn't going to take what's going on. And so she kind of organizes this team to go after it. She's really crafty and really smart and really good. Yeah. So anyway, it's a very, very fun movie. It's character driven science fiction. So there's huge arcs in the characters that you'll see, which was really fun. There's a lot of action, a lot of ass kicking, if I can say that, a lot of explosions, a lot of it's a great movie. I'm covered in dirt for like 3 months straight.
Well, that sounds fun. So I had done a little reading on it, and I saw an article that said that this is actually going to tie into a TV show as well. Is that something that you're involved in?
It is. Well, because at first we made the movie, and then we got approached by actually 3 different companies who want to turn it into a TV series, and then somebody else who wanted to do a film series off of it, the other production people. And it was like, at first we're like, okay, this is great. And then it was like, we're still in post-production. Let us finish the project and show you just how epic it is, and then we'll make our decision as to which direction we're going to go. But it's definitely not the end of the movie, yeah.
Nice. So do we have any idea of like what's going to happen with the TV show going forward, or is it still kind of in limbo right now?
Well, I have an idea, but I can't say it publicly.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah, but it's because when you're talking to multiple parties, like I know the direction that it's going, and I know where the characters are going, and all those things because I've been told that, and I know I'm part of it, It's like, but I can't tell you who with and stuff yet, or exactly when. But I know that it's coming soon. Yeah.
Awesome. So we don't. One of the things that you can't tell me is what channel I'd be able to catch it on, right?
I can't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Where would we be able to watch the movie that you're promoting right now, Robot Fighter?
It'll be done. It'll be premiering like August. And then it'll be out in September. So it'll have a theatrical release in September, and then it'll go wide. So it'll be done end of July, beginning of August, and then we have some premieres we have to do, and then from there it'll get released.
So the director's Neal Johnson, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's this guy is somebody who, if the listeners don't know, has been related to George Lucas, like in ways where like George Lucas actually has given him credit for being one of the first people to film an entire movie in digital format. He was derided by the community for doing it, but then George Lucas came out when he was doing episode 2, I believe.
Right.
and was just like, hey, this guy's awesome. He's a visionary. Anyway, I guess what I'm getting at is I'd like to know, what was it like to work with Neal Johnson?
I'd like to compare him to George Lucas and Peter Jackson because he absolutely tortured me. Between the reshoots and the new scenes, and I mean, it's like the movie wrapped, but we were still shooting just over and over, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we need this here and we need that there. So this movie's the first movie that I would say that he's done, even though all of his movies are great, but this is going to be his most epic film. It was just the time and the effort and the energy that he put into it. And he's a thinking man. I mean, the guy's head he's way ahead of the rest of us. I'm a bright girl, but it's like he'd explain to me what we were going to be doing, and I couldn't get my head wrapped around it. He's very into science himself, not just science fiction, and so he could see these big ideas. And it's pretty amazing what he's done with this movie. It's pretty amazing to work with him.
Now, what were some of the locations that you actually had to shoot on? I mean, because that must have been pretty cool. I mean, the just from watching kind of like the teaser trailer and some of the other stuff, it seems like you guys had some really great locations. So, I mean, what was that like?
The locations were amazing, and since I grew up a science fiction fan,
right,
when you get to those locations and you know what your character's going through, you're just like, you're rocking it, you're just living it, and it's just so exciting. You're amped, and it helps you be able to do the physicality of them, because the physicality in this film was really trying, even for somebody like me who works out constantly. Mm-hmm. I was eating thousands and thousands of calories a day, and we're drinking tons of water, and nobody's peeing. Because I mean, you're like, where am I going to go to the bathroom? Oh, yeah, I don't have to go to the bathroom. I'm in the desert running.
Now, your character, it seems like I've read a couple interviews, and some other articles about, the character itself. I mean, would you compare, being somebody who's into science fiction, and I'm sure you've watched a ton of movies, what exactly would you compare this character to for people that don't know anything about, Rogue Warrior and want to know kind of like where your character's mindset is coming from? Like, who could you compare her to?
You've got all the major heroines that are science, from the science fiction films everywhere from Alien to all these other ones, but I like to think that this is going to be something where people are going to compare characters to my character in this, because I haven't seen anything like what my character was and what she had to do. So I'd rather flip that around and say, oh, this is something they're going to model characters after in the future.
Nice.
Of course. Nice. Yeah, of course, like Terminator and stuff. I mean, of course, all of these movies inspired me as a woman and are part of why I am who I am. But I really think that that this character's journey is so in depth and so huge that it's something that other people are going to compare to. That was actually kind of a trick question. I was hoping you were going to say that. See, it's morning. I just woke up.
So you've done movies like TikTok and Who's Jenna, but is this really like your first epic sci-fi movie that you're in, like this type of movie? It's and Who's Jenna's coming out about the same time as this too, which is kind of cool because they're like total flip characters from each other. On a side note, right? But it's actually the second. But the first one that I did is still in post-production, and it'll be out after this one, and that's called At the Edge of Time. And that was the first time that I'd worked on camera with Neal Johnson. And so, and then that one, I'm kind of like a general of her own army that's a terrorist. I mean, it's kind of, she believes what she's doing is right, but what an amazing character that is. But we decided to post this one first. So it's the second time I've done it, but it was, I was already kind of worked into the characters and stuff like that. So you said at the edge of time, your character's a terrorist? Well, she's a good terrorist. I mean, she believes in what she's doing, but really what she's trying to take down this guy who has a messiah complex. It's a time travel movie. And so she believes in what she's doing, and she believes he needs to be stopped because he has a messiah complex, and he's going back in time in order to rewrite history. But when you watch her, it's just like, I guess, terrorists today. When you watch her, you're like, you can't do that. Right. Especially a woman, So that was a really badass role too. Mm-hmm. So you both, like you and the guy that you're going after, both of you in your own way believe that what you're doing is right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic, though, huh? Yeah, it's a very deep script. Yeah, it's a very deep script. And we can look forward to that, like at the end of the year, or? No, I'd say the beginning of next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's something I'd definitely be interested in seeing. That sounds like a really cool idea.
So, one of the
10 years making. Yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
I was like, one of the questions I had for you was, obviously, we've kind of brought up Who's Jenna, which, as I was kind of doing research on, Rogue Warrior and reading about that, I came across, Who's Jenna, which we've kind of already talked about a little bit. And obviously, that movie is very different than what you're doing now. So how did you kind of come into Who's Jenna? And that is just a very different character, because everybody knows who Jenna Jameson is. And it's like, if you're going to be playing a Jenna Jameson lookalike, I mean, that's kind of a challenge. So can you talk about what your experience was with that?
I love raunchy guy comedy.
Right.
This is definitely raunchy guy comedy. But I just play a doppelganger of her in this. And Bill Sorvino, who I play opposite in this film, his best friend, Andy, played by Joe D'Onofrio. I mean, like the total Sopranos, Goodfellas cast and me, right? And he thinks that I look like this famous porn star. And it just goes on and on, the jokes and the humor and the writing in this thing is brilliant. And I'm actually an attorney in this film. I'm actually becoming partner in a law firm. But luckily, I mean, it's a spirally movie. It's really hard to explain, but it just it's raunchy guy comedy at its best. And what's funny is I went to the premiere of that in New York just a couple of weeks ago. And when I watch a movie, I don't really think of the character as me, because that was somebody else's life that I was living.
Right.
I remember I'm watching it, and the comedy, the timing in this thing is so good. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing, the dialogue. Like, I'm thinking to myself, how did she do that? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's my character. It's quite funny.
And when I watched the trailer, last night for a second time, third time, I was kind of noticing, there are a lot of actors that I've seen before, that are in this movie. And randomly, one of the guys that I noticed, and I'm not sure if you had set time with him, was he's a comedian, Vic DiBitetto. He's kind of had like that YouTube thing about the bread and milk. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about. But did you have any?
I know who he is, and I've seen his stuff, but he was in I think one scene. It was a cameo day, and I wasn't there for the cameo day, but I did meet him at the premiere.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he came up to me at the premiere. So yeah.
No, it was just interesting. I didn't expect to see him. I was like, oh, it's the guy from but it seems like the perfect character for him in that scene. So.
Yeah. Everybody in both films you would recognize from so many things, and everybody in both films were such good actors. So it's kind of a dream year for me working on those things. I had a couple of films I did besides that this year too, but I mean, it's just those two, that I had the lead female role in. I actually shot those. I only had 1 week off in between. So I had to prepare for the second one before the first one, and then take a week off and identify this. So I spent all year preparing on working on these films.
Right. Now, did you do you find that working out for these is a challenge? I mean, working out in general is a challenge, but I mean, especially for Rogue Warrior. I mean, did you have to? Was being on set enough of a workout, or did you have to do anything in preparation for this?
Well, I always work out, and I fight train. So
let me look at her.
Oh, right. But I'm just saying, right? But some people, before a role where they're going to be very active,
they're in better shape than me.
Right. Well, in some roles, you got to you amp it up. You're like, oh, I'm going to be going hardcore in this movie. Let's go, So I wasn't sure if you had to take it to the next level to get yourself psyched up for this, I got
myself pretty ripped for it. I did work out a little harder, but mostly what I did is I tried to put on a few pounds.
Right.
Because I knew that my endurance otherwise, that I'd run out, just because especially the stuff out in the desert and things like that. So I probably was maybe 5 pounds heavier when I shot that film on purpose. I put on muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want to have scene one ready and then you just pass out. so face down in the sand.
I will tell you, what was hard was not only, all those things, but also if you look at my boots in it, I had on these big high-heeled boots. So I'm oh yeah, I can do that. But I never thought about doing it in these big old New Rock boots, And they fill up with sand, and
Now, here's a question for you, because I'm also an actor, and for me, whenever I'm on set or I'm doing anything, I feel that, especially with my characters, I actually really become the character as soon as I get into that costume. And for you, I feel like, Rogue Warrior, she's probably got some real badass costumes. So as soon as you put those on, I mean, were you like, all right, we're doing this. Like, I feel this now. It's just an interesting situation.
I start morphing into that character way in preparation. And one of the things I do with films, because I live the characters too, is that I decide their quirks. They all walk a little different. They all do something a little different. So then, when I wake up that morning, I wake up as that person, and I put on those boots. Yeah, I feel like that person. But then I get to the location, and it's just there.
Yeah.
So it all feeds in. It's all part of it. But it's more of what's up in my mind long before I put the boots on.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Did you, what location specifically did you film at? I know there were a couple, but obviously a lot of sand. It was in the desert. Where specifically was that?
Yuma.
Okay.
It was out, Yuma. And Trona Pinnacles, Mojave Desert. There's like Salton Sea. I don't know if you know the Salton Sea. All the mountains out there. We were all over the place. The talc mines. We were all over the place.
Nice. One of the things I did realize too is that just from the trailer, from what I could see, there was a good amount of CGI. So location is definitely important. But how much CGI was there compared to actual location footage? Because I know with sci-fi, CGI is sometimes necessary.
It's necessary, but Neal, again, going all Peter Jackson on me, this particular film, he wanted to be as real as possible.
Right.
So the majority of it is real. Yes, there's special effects and this, that, and everything, but if there was a way to do something real, we did it. There was, very little green screen, very, very little, because he did a couple of movies that were straight green screen before that. So he's like, well, there's no fun in that. I actually like green screen, but this movie was almost all real. And then, of course, there's effects put in later, but anything we could do real, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. So, Tracy, got a question for you. And I'm sure you've heard this.
It's a trick question. It sounds like a trick question.
No, it's not a trick question. I'm sure you've heard this a lot, though, because, it's definitely in a lot of the stuff that we read about you. My mother-in-law is a huge Y&R fan. And you got the chance to work on Young and the Restless. What was that experience like? Because I would like to be able to, let her hear a little bit about that.
Hi, Mom. I did soap a long time ago. I was on Loving for a long time. So it was kind of more the same. But Young and the Restless was great because, of course, the actors are really good and everybody's really seasoned. But what's interesting about working on a soap that you don't get that same experience in filmmaking and stuff like that is that you literally walk on set. Everything's already mic'd. Everything's in the sets. You walk in, you do it once, So there's no screwing up in soap. Like, you just know your stuff. You go out and you do it. You decide how you're going to do it. The director doesn't tell you what they want until right before you do it. And then it's over. So, in some ways, like, soap is so much fun. And, of course, it pays well and stuff like that. But in other ways, it's like, I don't know. It's like there's no there's not a lot of creative process in it, Right. And that's why people feel like they know soap stars so well, is because they're watching them be themselves, and they do make mistakes. And when they do make mistakes, it's usually in the footage. And, so they kind of always feel like they really know them. And it's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. She's going to want to know this.
Okay.
Because she raves about this guy. And this is the only reason why I know his name, because I don't watch Y&R. But she's a big Josh Morrow fan. Did I say that right? Or Morrow?
You did. And I know who he is. I just
Did you get to meet him?
I didn't work with him at all.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I worked mostly with Tucker McCall.
Who is it? Tucker McCall? Mm-hmm. All right.
I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I do have another question for you as far as acting goes, because I think this is interesting. First of all, have you ever done any theater before?
We breaking up?
I'm not sure. Did you lose me?
I grew up. You were. I didn't hear a whole bunch of that before, but yeah.
All right, I'm going to start over. Okay. So, being an actress, you've probably had, the opportunity to do film and theater. Now, have you done a lot of theater at all? Do you enjoy theater at all if you've done it?
I loved theater. Growing up, I did a lot of theater. Mm-hmm. I sang in church. I did musical theater and theater. I mean, I loved performing. I was a dancer on stage since I was, teeny tiny, so I loved singing and dancing, and I loved theater. I always wanted to be an actress, but my parents didn't think I had to do that. They're like, oh, use your brain, so I tried, but it's like, to me, that's what I am, I always was. So theater was my outlet growing up. I mean, I think I did Sound of Music 20 some times, every time it came around, I just played a different character, and Fiddler on the Roof and all that. So yeah, I loved theater. When I hit 15, I did my first union job, and I haven't done theater since I was probably 17, something like that. Now, I would love to, and I actually got cast in a local film at Malibu Playhouse that I was going to do, but the director and the writer got in a fight when we were in rehearsals, and of course they canceled the production, so I didn't do it.
That's awesome. Great.
It was a yelling, screaming, like, horrible fight, and all the actors are on stage. But, so no, I haven't done theater since, but it's mostly a time issue. Mm-hmm. Like, my life is so busy. I haven't auditioned in years, and I'm always choosing between projects, and I love that. It's like I choose the ones where my character is the greatest journey and where I think that the film is the most marketable, and where it's going to be fun to play that character and bring it to life.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and that's kind of one of the questions. The reasons I was asking you that question is because I feel like with theater, you start and then you end. When you get into rehearsals, you're usually breaking everything apart by scenes, and then when you actually put the whole production up on stage, you go from beginning to end. So it's easier, I think, in a sense. It can be still challenging, but I think it's easier for the character to just go, to you start right from the beginning, and there's that arc, and you know exactly where you're going to end. Whereas with film, you know exactly the storyline, but at the same time, they choose what scene you're going to shoot on what day. So you have to be prepared to go in there, and if you're in the middle where your emotion is at the highest, you have to bring that. So do you enjoy that, that kind of sporadic, let's do this scene, or do you like kind of like a straight through, like from start to finish?
I actually like it being all mixed up, and I have a method that I use that I don't know if anybody else does it, it's just what I do, where when I'm deciding who my character is months before you ever start production, and I also go through and I pinpoint where they're at emotionally and what they're feeling, what they know at that time, because you have to take out of your mind what's happening next because you don't know yet. And so I sit there and I figure out exactly where they're at, and then I assign it a color. So I have color codes in the script for everything and where I'm at emotionally and what they know and don't know and what the relationships are like. And so right before I shoot those scenes, I'll read that through and just put myself there. The other thing I like better about film than theater is the director has a lot bigger idea on what it is that you ought to be. In film, you can create what you want that character to be, and the director will move you if that's not where they want you. So it's almost like you kind of have so much more say, and usually directors go along with your ideas because you've put so much thought into it, and every now and then they'll move you around. But in theater, it's so much more presentational, and they're telling you exactly how they want you to do it, and there's very little movement you can do with it. And to me, the creation part of who the character is such an exciting part to me. Now,
did Neal Johnson actually allow you to have? I mean, obviously you had input on your character and stuff like that. But sometimes when I've been on set, I'll have an idea and I'll bring it to the director, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Let's switch that around." Like, did you have any, impact on the writing to change things, or was it just you had an idea, or he was very strict on what he wanted, didn't want you to change anything?
I'll talk about all the characters, not just my character. I mean, we all brought something that wasn't there before. And I think that's where so many of the additional scenes were. It's like, okay, well, because you've had such good actors on the film. Daz Crawford, William Kircher, Stephen Manley. I mean, you had these really well-trained actors. And so we all brought in so much that then he had to add things in order to make it flow better. But it's definitely better because of working with talent like that. He pretty much let us bring what we want, but there were quite a few times that I saw him bring people back.
Right.
You know, because of the flow of the film. So he would only do it if he had to do it in order to make the story make sense. Besides that, he kind of let us all have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it kept you guys away from going on tangents. Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly what great actors do. I mean, to every actor that's extremely well trained, their role is the most important role, which doesn't work once you get a whole group of actors
right.
that are doing that. So he was very careful to bring things back and get it right into the tone. And of course, you know, you get bummed out when you don't get to have that moment that you dreamed of, you know, but there's plenty of other moments. So he's a very good director. He's thinking about the end product every step of the way.
Do you have a dream project that you want to work on?
Oh, gosh. You know, it's funny because I always do these films and I know that I get hired because of my talent. I know that part of why I book is because I keep myself in such good shape and because of my look. But I'd love to play something that was only about my talent. Something where they kind of mess you up a little bit, you know? It's like...
Are you talking
like Monster?
I was just going to say Charlie Theron in Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Something where your talent was the only thing that the critics base their opinion on. I just think that would be so cool. But to be honest, all these projects are dream projects. I mean, I'm a really lucky girl.
How about a director that you want to work with?
Peter Jackson.
I've been working with him. Peter Jackson. I mean, you know, Alive or Dead. I mean, the Stanley Kubricks, you know, the Oliver Stones, you know what I mean? I mean, George Lucas. I mean, whether they're doing it or not, whenever you see a project that they do, you're like, oh my God, that everything you do is brilliant, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, I feel so fortunate to be working with Neal Johnson because he's a director that I wanted to work with. That I got to work with, you know, so there's, of course, tons of them out there, but they're the greats.
Yeah, when George Lucas is calling you a visionary, you've pretty much made it as a legend, you know, like you're there. So you definitely are working with one of the greats. What about an actor or actress that you are, you know, itching to work with as a partner on screen?
You know, I would have to say Daniel Day-Lewis. I would love to work with him because that man is freaking brilliant, you know, and it's like, and he lives his characters and creates his characters and puts so much into his characters. And I love to do that. And I hate it when other people don't do it to that degree. And I feel like there's so much I could learn from him. I mean, even Meryl Streep, of course, I'd love to work with Meryl Streep. You know, so I like to look to actors that have taken what I do and taken it to the next level. But some of the actors I have worked with, I'll tell you, I take something little from each great actor that I work with. I always make sure to learn at least one thing. You know, I worked with Dennis Hopper. I worked with Barry Corbin. I mean, William Kircher recently. So all of these people going back in time. I mean, Sammy Jackson when I was younger. I mean, I take a little piece. I learn a little something from them. And not all of them I could say on the radio. You know, some cheats, you know. Right. But I learned something great. I try to take a great thing away from every great person that I work with.
So when you mentioned Daniel Day-Lewis, I mean, he's extremely what people would call method. I mean, when he did The Crucible, he literally built like an entire house, you know, just like to get into the character of John Proctor. So do you do any of that like hardcore, you know, method acting to get into a character?
You know, sometimes, but I don't ever use, you know, with the method, a lot of times you're creating events that get you into that emotional place. And for me, I put myself in the emotional place of the character. Right. You know, but on that note, I'll show you something. Okay. You see this?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So that's the robot that ends up being my partner throughout most of the movie. And so I had Neal put Hoagland in my office, and I developed a relationship with him for months. And I would talk to him because this has to be real in my mind, right?
So kind of like Tom Hanks in Castaway with Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what's funny about it is I developed Hoagland's personality. I mean, he has a lot of personality. And when I read the script, I was like working with him, and I have to know how to react to him. I have to know our interchanges. So I, over months, developed this. We get to the set, and we start shooting, and it was really hard because they'd have other people reading Hoagland's lines.
Right. Yeah. It's not the voice you pictured in your head.
Well, the voice, the personality. So I got to the point where I had to memorize Hoagland's lines too, and he has a lot of dialogue, so that I could think them through in my mind rather than having somebody read them, because it was so real to me by the time we were there. If you're going to be sharing screen with an inanimate object, it has to be real to you.
Right.
You know? So anyway, that's
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Have you ever built a house, though?
And that's like one of the challenges, I think, with green screen and things like that too, is, they'll be like, okay, there's this whole world in front of you, and direct everything to that tennis ball, go, and you have to be ready to go and go for it. So I mean, that's definitely having that set up ahead of time is going to be is going to help you through it.
Yeah.
So I know that you're a annual San Diego Comic-Con attendee. Okay, I've found this out through my own methods that nobody else has access to. But anyway, called the internet. But
nerd, is that what you're calling me?
no, because I'm right there. Like, he's the actor, I'm the comic book enthusiast.
Yeah,
so I'm huge
hardcore
on comic books. So my next question for you is, if there was a character that you could play, like a superhero character, Marvel calls you up and says, "Hey, we want to give you anybody that you want to play, and you can be in the next Marvel movie." Like, what would you want to do?
Gosh, they're all so badass,
Right.
You can't make me pick.
Okay,
You can't do it. Tell me which one I resemble the most, or which one you want to see me do, and then tell them.
All right. I think you could do. I think you could do a good Sue Storm.
Yeah.
Oh, when I was doing Who's Jenna, I went to New Jersey, and one of the things, I only had one day off the whole time that I was there, and I had to go to Kevin Smith's comic book shop.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Kevin Smith is great, and that comic book shop is amazing.
Selfies, Yeah.
That shop is amazing. I went there in New Jersey. When was it? It was about. Was it last year or was it the year before?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. They weren't there, of course, because, that's just my luck. You go there and, the one guy that's never on the show is actually there at the shop. So, so that was my experience. But I mean, when you walk in, it's just a beautiful place.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. I love it. My dad was a comic book guy. And a sci-fi nerd. So
nice.
He's a brilliant man, but he definitely raised me right.
Yeah, that's sounds like me. I'm a sci-fi nerd, brilliant man.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, same thing. Yeah.
I have a lot in common with your dad.
Right.
Will we be able to see you at any other conventions besides San Diego Comic-Con?
I'm sure you will. I just don't know what yet. It's like I always go to Comic-Con because it's so big and it's so much fun. And then plus I can arrange interviews while I'm there and stuff like that, which is great. But I've gone to some of the other ones, but I don't have a plan. I post everything on my social media. So if I do go, everybody will know. Awesome.
You ever travel to the East Coast?
Well, yeah, I just got back.
Oh, what were you down here for? What was going on?
Oh, I went there for the premiere. Remember I told you? For the Who's Jenna premiere.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I missed that it was in the East Coast.
Yeah, I was in the East Coast. Oh,
nice.
Man, it was so much fun.
Well, make sure that next time you're in the East Coast, make it around the time when they have Rhode Island Comic-Con. That's when you have to come.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what we were leaning towards. Yeah. That and New York Comic-Con's a big one. So, yeah, those are fun. Definitely.
William Kircher came out for that just recently. They just had it, right?
Rhode Island Comic-Con is
usually in October. Yeah.
Okay. One of them went out that they just had, and he just went out there for that.
And I think New York is November. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the next one coming up near us is Boston Walker Stalker. So that one's going to be fun. It's mainly like Walking Dead, related. They have some other like horror people that come out, and they also have some interesting people too. Like they have like some mediums come out and people that are interested in the supernatural. So it's really like well rounded. Who did we talk to last time? It was oh my God, his name is escaping me too.
Zach Galligan.
Yeah, Zach Galligan from Gremlins, and that was really cool. So I didn't expect him to be there, but it was awesome when he did. So a lot of cool guests like that.
You got to do a zombie movie next.
Yeah.
It would definitely be fun.
That could be the thing. Like so that could be the thing where you bring your talent to the thing, and like they can do you all up in like zombie makeup, right? And just
make you all gross.
Yeah, just make you look like.
I'm not sure how much actability. We need a script that had some depth of character, though. You know, and that's kind of a one-note character. Is the only thing.
Well, I think that.
They're dead.
I think it can be done. I mean, like they did that. What was that? Warm Bodies, where like the zombie actually had a personality.
Warm Bodies.
Yeah, like the zombie had a personality, and he fell in love with somebody and whatnot. Like I mean, like yeah, it can be done.
That was horrible. That movie was awful.
No, I don't know. I thought it was good. I thought that movie had some character to it. You know,
she needs something more than Warm Bodies.
I just finished playing Sienna in Rogue Warrior. That's not, it's not luring me.
Right.
Could we get you to be in a Redbeard podcast movie? Would that be a good thing?
A podcast movie?
A Redbeard podcast movie. Yeah, we want to do the Redbeard podcast, the movie. I'm pitching this to you right now. I'm pitching this to you right now. This is a cold pitch. I don't have a script yet, but if you tell me that you will be in it, I will write it.
There's a character we want you to play. Her name is Tracy Birdsall.
Yeah.
So
we're making that movie right now.
Exactly. Boom. Mind blown.
How meta was that? That was awesome.
Another trick question. So
we got to get Neal involved in this.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get him on. Can we get him on the phone?
Can we?
I could get him on FaceTime, and then we could add him to the conversation. Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe he's on the computer.
Let's see.
You want me to try?
Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to try. It would be pretty funny.
Get 4 people on this.
Oh, there he is. We're joining into our interview now, so I'm turning this around. There he is.
Oh.
Neal,
what's going on?
how are you, man? It's good to see you. I was just pitching an idea to Tracy. We want to do Redbeard Podcast, the movie. It's a cold pitch. I don't have a script yet, but I want to know if we can get you involved. Would you be interested?
You're clearly putting him on the spot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Does it have pirates in it?
Absolutely.
One-Eyed Willie. From the Goonies.
Pirates and robots.
Oh, that'd be fine.
So that's it. We have a confirmation. Yes. So we have Neal Johnson and Tracy Birdsall involved in the Redbeard Podcast movie. I'm getting started today.
We're gonna fly you out,
Neal. I just wanted to say it's awesome to have you on the show. I think you're an awesome director. I was talking to Tracy earlier. Mentioned the whole thing about when George Lucas basically called you out as a visionary and how accurate that was as the first person to actually do digital film for a movie. I think you're great, man. I think what you do is awesome, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens with Robot Fighter.
Well, thank you. That's really nice. Yeah, at the time I didn't feel like a visionary. I felt like a bit of a tool, but I guess now it's retrospect. So thank you.
Definitely. I know. We kind of put you on the spot, but we just wanted to give you that compliment, and wanted to say hey.
No problem.
All right, man. Hey, I'll let you get back to it, man.
Okay, well, thanks for joining in. Bye.
Bye.
Say, that worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Tracy Birdsall, Neal Johnson, robots, pirates, Cooley and Tony. You can't get better than that. What's better than that?
Definitely.
You did forget to talk about his directing fee, though.
We'll have to start a Kickstarter and figure out what we have for a budget. But yeah,
we did say we're starting today. Give us some time.
Just making a point there. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
he's a visionary, but he's not a free visionary. That's for sure.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to cost us an arm and a leg, like $2,000, right?
Hey. If you do so,
He does movies for $2,000.
We've got a long time to go.
if you do something well, never do it for free.
He's past that stage.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. Inflation, damn it.
I think maybe that was 20 years ago. So.
It was crazy long ago. Yeah, seriously though, I mean, like we're definitely looking forward to what Robot Fighter's all about, and even I mean, At the Edge of Time sounds amazing. So you said 2017 for that. Are these going to be theatrical releases, something that we can go see in the theater, or is it going to be direct to DVD, Netflix? What's the deal with that?
We'll definitely have some theatrical release in it. Mm-hmm. So and then it'll go wide. All of his films go worldwide. So, but it'll definitely have an initial theatrical, and then from there we'll go wide.
Sweet.
All right. Yeah. Limited, or I mean, would I be able to see it on the East Coast over here in Rhode Island?
I'm sure you'll see it on the East Coast too. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right.
Anything
else that you want to add?
No, it's just been great chatting with you guys and waking up with you this morning.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for waking up so early and actually jumping right into this because, schedules suck, right? And, it's just awesome that, you were able to wake up and just be so like chipper and jump right into it and be so awesome with us. So thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Girls got to do what a girl's got to do, right?
Right.
Well, I hope it wasn't that difficult for you.
No?
I don't think it was that. I don't think it would be that difficult if she woke up and her hair was like that.
Yeah, like she just like.
Hair's not everything.
Who needs makeup, huh?
Yeah.
You're all good.
And I just realized
I said, is this audio? This video?
Yeah, I mean, using the video would be great, but I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of like lag. So it'd be kind of weird. Yeah, it would be weird to like actually post the video of this. So we're probably just going to stick to the audio. But we do like using the video just for reaction and stuff like that. So like when you have a reaction, like we can react to that. And
I think what we're going to do too is probably take like some clips that from the video. Like I really think it was interesting where you brought in our fifth guest, the robot behind you. So, and we can kind of talk about that or maybe show that clip because I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and when we got Neal on FaceTime.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was hilarious. So, yeah, but that's awesome.
He's on the East Coast right now, too, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah. But he's actually with us right now. Psych!
And you pulled him
why don't you come out from behind the boiler over there?
Hey!
By the way, we shoot this in my basement.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, it's been great talking to you, and Tracy, again, thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
And make sure you let us know if you're going to be on the East Coast for a Comic-Con so we can come, chat with you and maybe talk to you a little bit more.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm going to friend you on Facebook. You need to accept the friend request, okay?
You know what? I just use a page now. I don't have a personal.
Is this an excuse or?
No, look, I literally took it down because it was so distracting. So I just use my page now.
Are you on Twitter though? We can friend her on Twitter and so forth and go from there.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, Twitter. Yes.
Sad, haven't I? Your whole face dropped.
Well, yeah, no, I've been hearing it. I mean, whenever I ask a girl if I can friend her on Facebook, I always get that same reaction. They tell me, "Oh, I just have a page." No, I'm kidding. I don't ask a whole lot. I'm married anyway. But so Twitter it is. We'll do Twitter and just stay in touch so that we can kind of find out what's going on. And we're definitely in touch with your agent because he's the one that got us together now. So that's great. So yeah, all good. I appreciate your time.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
You too. Bye.